me.
Sorry. Kind of briefly asked you about this the other day, but Steven, the way he draws fouls on the offensive glass, what does that do for you guys as a team to see those foul counts just rack up?
Well, it's just like anything else. I think you get a chance or opportunity to move closer to the bonus. That's why I think even defensively it's so important that you don't want to have fouls that you can eliminate, early in quarters, because there's going to be plays that are going to warrant fouls being called, and the more fouls you have that maybe are unnecessary or ones you can avoid certainly help you get deeper in the quarter without putting teams in the bonus. So when Steven goes to offensive rebound, it gets us closer to the bonus, if he can get inside position.
Brooklyn really hunts threes as part of their offense. And last time you guys played, I forget the exact number, 37, 38 or something like that they took. How do you guys make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, I think transition's a huge key. They do a great job in transition. We have to get back and get matched up. I think the other thing is any ball containment's huge, because I think the ball gets penetrated and now you're in rotation. They get you that way as well. They're a team that I think tries to do it by getting to the free throw line, by shooting threes, and a lot of that stuff comes off dribble penetration. So they have a lot of guys that can put the ball on the floor and create not only for themselves but for others. So you're in a position where you're going to have to be in a lot of scramble rotation situations.
You often talk about playing with pace. And just to clarify, when you talk about playing with pace, do you mean the actual number of possessions in the game, or do you just kind of mean the deliberateness of playing within an offense, whether you're playing in the half court and transition?
Well, I think the pace would be trying to get the ball across half court quickly, getting into offense. Then once the offense starts, moving, cutting with pace, with tempo. Trying to like every team, trying to create something downhill towards the rim, towards the basket, whether it's on rolls or dribble drives, trying to create closeout situations, for players to be able to attack one-on-one. The ball and our bodies moving, but it's more in the half court of moving and cutting and playing with a pace and tempo, and not being slow getting into our offense. And once we're into it, moving and cutting with pace.
When you score 148 points in a game, when you look back at the tape, what are the things you're looking at offensively that you could improve on?
Again, I think on a night like that, for us to do that, you got to make shots. We made a lot of shots. We made some difficult shots too. I thought that we had some opportunities, even with Jeremy and Patrick, where they had some switches inside that I didn't think that we converted very well. I thought we had some plays where we got the ball deep in the paint and we missed some people that were open at the three-point line. I think we can do a better job, especially with our bigs rolling, with the way they were pulling across, trying to take away the rim. We left some maybe some extra passes to the perimeter open there. I think for us, the screening, the execution, the timing, you're always working to try to get better at those things. And I think just because you put up a lot of points in a game, it may look or appear like from a rating standpoint that it was an explosive night. And it was. Guys made shots, but I still think that we can get better and build off of what we did in the game, but also do things even better than we did in the game, going forward.
Billy, a couple weeks ago you talked about getting Patrick some shots,
Mm-hmm.
some areas of the floor. He's shot a little bit more from the corner lately.
Yep.
Are those the kinds of shots, do you like the kinds of shots he's getting?
Yeah, we've got to find him. Raymond's done a really good job of locating him and helping him get some shots up. I also think it's on Patrick too, to a point of taking the ones. He's such an unselfish player. I think there are shots that he's bypassed and he's given up where he can get them off. I think those are good shots for our team and for him. But we have done a better job collectively as a group of finding him when he's been open and creating some shots for him.
He's such a quick ball mover.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes can he overdo that?
Yes, I think that's the balance part, where I think there's times he catches it. And I know where he's coming from. I think he's a promoter of ball movement. He knows that we've got to do that. So a lot of times when it's one pass to him and he can shoot it, I think he's a little reluctant because I think he wants to stay with the ball movement part of it. And but I also think time, score, situation, being a veteran guy, there can be some times where he can pick his spots and maybe let a couple of those go. Especially if a few passes have been made. But when he gets the ball at the top of the key, he's such a willing distributor. And, as a coach, more often than not, you're going to want that ball movement and pace. Because the biggest thing with the pace part is it not so much the pace of with the ball, but it's the pace of moving that sometimes moving and cutting creates the floor moving, people moving, and now all of a sudden it helps the ball handler create a little bit. It doesn't allow people to load up and guard the ball. And I think Patrick recognizes that and sees that, so I think his first instinct is to keep that ball moving.
The one thing he's not done particularly well lately offensively, he's not finishing around the rim.
Yeah.
Is there something you see there that's happening?
Yeah, we've got to keep working with him and helping him. He hasn't probably done it, and it's really interesting because when I coached against him in college, he was a dominant low post player, you know, and I know maybe with some of the size or length he's playing against the power forward position, posting him up in those situations maybe he's not ideal, but there were some times where there are some switches, where there's some guards, and we throw it to him in the post. I still think he can generate offense. I think the same thing with Jeremy. I thought Jeremy had some opportunities around the basket. They didn't finish. There was a couple they double-teamed him. He probably should have kicked out. But Patrick, I think we're going to need for him on those mismatches where he gets in there to at least force a double team. But if we can get him and Jeremy on those switches to be a little bit more productive down there, I think that would help us.
What's the next step for Jeremy, and when he's going to the hoop, being able to find guys on the perimeter when he does need to kick out?
He's a great passer. I mean, I'm a real, you know. And I had him in high school, and I had him in college with the USA. So I've been around him enough, and then being with him here, he's really got good vision. He's a good passer. The biggest part with him is he generally passes the ball and makes good decisions when he's on balance. I think a lot of his rolls down the lane, as he's looking to catch the basketball, there was somebody in front of him or he got bumped. And I think a lot of times when he's off balance, he struggles to finish, he struggles to pass. So I think it really starts with his balance.
Is he a better screener now than he was like a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard for him. Not that it's been hard for him in terms of him not wanting to do it, but his role changed from last year. I mean, he's our backup 5-man with that second unit. He's a roller now. You know, he really was never a roller. When he was playing with Ennis Cantor, Ennis was the roller. He was the pop guy. So, you know, as much as everybody keeps talking about the adjustment, the changes that everybody else has had to go through, he's had to go through some too. So I think his role's changed, but he's done a really, really good job, and he is an effective roller, and I think he is an effective passer. So if we can find him in the pocket in, you know, that short mid-post area on rolls, and he can make some plays and be on balance, I think it makes our offense better.
Speaking of Jeremy and Pat, you've every once in a while gone to like a big lineup with one of those guys at the 4 and Melo and Paul still out there. What have you seen from those lineups that you've liked, disliked, that's maybe prevented from becoming a regular thing?
I mean, I think sometimes sliding Melo to the 3 is an option for us. It's good for us. Keeping Jeremy at the 4 kind of gets him back to his normal position, Melo back to where he's played most of his career. You know, again, some of that stuff's matchup-wise, though, you know, with those guys out there because, you know, defensively, I think with Melo's communication and his experience and him being in coverages, the power forward spot, I think it helps our defense. You know, Jeremy's probably at a point in time where, you know, he can chase a lot of maybe smaller people off of screens and really use his length and his size. So some of that stuff depends on who's on the floor matching up, how well can we match up, you know, what are the matchups that we have. I think because Carmelo's been in the league for so long, he's got a good feel of personnel and what guys' tendencies are and what their strengths are and how they want to play. So I think his communication, his awareness, his intelligence, you know, helps our defense. But a lot of it's going to depend on how we match up with the other team and who's out there for the other team.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.